This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big update to share with you. Stimulus checks during the next recession is likely, according to one expert, and a White House former advisor saying that we are in a recession right now and it is going to last a while. I'll play you a video clip from Bernie Sanders of how to deal with these tough times. Latest stimulus checks, $500 monthly checks, and I'll give you some other updates with other checks. Also, I'll let you know what the price drop in gas means to Republicans and what's going to happen in the future, and I'll give you some other more important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 checks to my subscribers. Details of how to sign up for that down in the description below. But first, White House doesn't know where Biden caught COVID-19, says it's not important. If you didn't know, President Biden caught COVID-19. Doesn't matter. Karine Jean-Pierre, who is the White House press secretary, says, I don't think that matters. Does it matter? I don't know. Moving forward, when it comes to the recession, so recession is here and will last for a while, former White House economist says. So President Biden looks to the Federal Reserve to tackle inflation. Meanwhile, some are saying that we're in a recession right now. So some are saying this, but the White House is not officially saying that we're in a recession. But a lot of economists and a lot of, I guess, so-called experts, CEOs of big financial companies saying that we're in a recession. It's just not officially called a recession yet. What could that mean for stimulus checks? I'll let you know about that article, but first take a look at what Bernie Sanders has to say about these tough times.
A question from, probably mispronouncing it, Gemma, and she writes, I have found it hard to avoid doomerism. How do I avoid losing all hope? And then another question that comes from Patrick, is it ever going to get any better? Should I maintain any will to live? Now that's a little bit, makes me nervous, Patrick. Yes, you should maintain a will to live. And, look, these are very tough times, and I think what we have to do is be honest about it and say these are tough times, but these are not the only tough times this country has experienced, or the American people have experienced, or the world has experienced. The 1930s, 25 during the Depression, 25% of people in this country were unemployed. You had children working in fields, children not going to school, working in fields, in factories. In 1941, when we had to deal with both Japan and Germany, and the rise of Nazism and Japanese imperialism. We weren't prepared to do that in 1941, but the country got its act together, and literally in a few years built the economy and the armed forces that we needed to save the world from Nazism. So, these are tough times, but it is not appropriate for us to live in despair, because all of this is about is not just us. It is about our kids. I have 4 kids. I have 7 grandchildren, and you do too. And we are fighting for not just ourselves, but for the future and future generations. So it seems to me that despair is not an option. This is tough stuff, and the victories are not going to be easy. We are facing enormously powerful opposition. But throughout history, that has been the case. People have faced enormous opposition, and things change. Things get better. So, and all we can continue to do is to keep fighting.
What are your thoughts on what Bernie Sanders says? Do you agree, disagree? Tough times are hard now, but it looks like they could get even worse with the recession around the corner. So let's go over this. Stimulus checks likely in the next recession, says one expert, though right now would be a terrible time. So this economist, Tara Sinclair, I'll get to exactly what she said here, which is Sinclair says many economists expect the U.S. will slide into a recession sometime in 2023, which raises the question of stimulus checks. Are stimulus checks likely in the next recession? They are, because that's been a common policy in the past. Aside from the 3 rounds of checks sent out during the COVID-19 pandemic, tax rebates were also issued during the 2001 and 2008 recession. So low-income Americans in particular could use the support. The Center of Poverty and Social Policy at Columbia University has seen the monthly poverty rate rise over most of 2022. So if you talk to families directly, they will probably already tell you that they're in a tight spot or worried about finances, and it could get potentially worse. So there were stimulus checks during the past 2 recessions that we had, one in 2001, one in 2008, and if we have one in 2023, there could be more stimulus checks. But should there be more stimulus checks now, since a lot of people are hurting now? It could be. I think the closer we get to the midterm elections, I mean, we're starting to see it on a state and city level, for example, like this. Americans to get $500 in monthly direct payments for 2 years, see the exact month they will go out. So this is going on in Des Moines, Iowa, and it has approved $500,000 in funding for the program. And yes, a universal basic income program going to give $500. It's going to launch this year with the first round of stipends going out in February. So yeah, looks like monthly checks are going out there. But what about on a federal level? Still not seeing that support yet. If a recession comes, could it be too late though? Should there be help now and then during the recession? Maine wraps up mailing $850 relief checks to eligible residents. So we've spoken about this in the past, the $850 checks or $1,700 checks to couples. And it looks like the Maine Department of Administrative and Financial Services said Monday that 784,000 payments had been sent to taxpayers who filed tax returns, accounting for 91% of the 858,000 estimated eligible recipients. So looks like the Maine stimulus checks, about 91% finished there. When it comes to the whole gas drop and what's going on with that, so Biden administration takes credit for gas price drop despite blame game. They can't have it both ways. So take a look at this video clip right here. You know, we've heard that President Biden blamed Putin and other things for the price of gas going up, but as the price was going down, they took credit for it. Is that right? Take a look at this, giving more numbers behind what's actually going on and what could happen in the future.
The Biden White House patting itself on the back, claiming credit as gas prices fall from all-time record highs. Warning, we are told this fall they'll go back up again. Karl Rove's here to fill her up. Hey, Karl, good morning to you. Here's the exchange from the White House yesterday about the up and the down, the explanation. Just watch this.
Aren't you having it both ways, Jared? Because when the gas prices go up, it's got nothing to do with the president. When we see some decline, you want him to get the credit.
Look, I think that there's no both-way thinking here at all. The president has reacted from the beginning, talking about how this was such an important priority. He then presided over the largest historical release of barrels of oil from the Strategic Reserve. It
was Putin's fault. When they're coming down, he gets the credit.
Yeah, I very much disagree with that framing.
All right, Karl, you go ahead and frame it, huh? And there's a lot to shoot at right there.
Well, they're in a difficult situation. You got to have a little compassion for them. They've misplayed this right from the beginning. They mislabeled it right from the beginning. Now they're trying to claim credit for something. And here's the problem. In January of 2021, the average price of a gallon of regular gas was $2.58. As of yesterday, it was $4.52. Ordinary Americans are listening to this prattle back and forth from the White House press room, and they're saying to themselves, I just filled up at the pump, and I'm paying a heck of a lot more than I did last year or the year before. And that's going to be the enduring problem of the Biden administration. They're stuck with a bad number, and they can point all they want to the decline in the last few weeks, but they still got a big jump up, and people are feeling it when they go to the pump. And it's not just gasoline. It's so many things that we have to go to the grocery store or the clothing store for. And as people get ready to go back to school and they got to go buy new clothes for the kids and supplies, they're going to see it reflected. The administration's in trouble, and they're stuck with that sort of lousy back and forth that they had in the film that you showed.
I appreciate your compassionate conservative stance, Karl. And I'm thinking about this White House as they're trying to make lemonade out of lemons. For example, during last year's Afghanistan withdrawal, the debacle, they wanted credit for the largest airlift in history. Recently, they have asked for credit for the largest importation of baby formula from Europe, as if that was something to write home about. They also want credit for the historic release of Strategic Petroleum Reserve oil, as if that had anything to do with it. And now you have, just last week, President Biden was saying that President Putin is the reason for these price hikes, and now they want credit for what? As far as I can see, the war in Ukraine is still going on. It just doesn't seem to me that the White House thinks about what the follow-up questions are going to be.
They don't, and they're doing this on the fly. They've got a relatively new press secretary who's demonstrated she is less sure-footed than her predecessor, and even her predecessor had difficulties with questions like this. They're stuck. There is little that they can do to get out of this. They're putting forward the best line they can get, which is give us credit for everything that we think is going good and blame somebody else for everything that's going bad. And yet the American people know what the heart of this is that in 2021, they passed the American Rescue Plan and tried to pass Build Back Better. They put a huge bunch of money into the economy. Too much money chasing too few goods, and the result was inflation, and they're responsible for it. And until the inflation rate goes down because of what the Federal Reserve is doing, they're not going to get out of this. And they're certainly not going to get out of this in the remaining time, just over 100 days between now and the November midterms.
So what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? As price drops, I think a lot of people are benefiting. Does it matter who gets the credit for it? Let me know your thoughts on that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
3, 2, 1. Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something that you should really use. If you're like the pool or something and like you get hurt or something, you should just try your best, because sometimes that happens to me too, and it's not really fun. But if you got hurt like that one time, I'm sure you could deal with it, and you can be strong and powerful like how you are. So bye. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget about those $200 checks if you appreciate how I get straight to the point and I don't bombard you with a bunch of nonsense. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, all that YouTube stuff. And tomorrow, gonna go play in a pickleball tournament. So gonna go away with the family for a couple days for the weekend. Yeah, hopefully you have a great weekend as well. And if you want to check out my latest videos, my other channel, you could click up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.